I'm just gonna number them.
Kiss and tell on us too. Time that happens, somebody defers. Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody to our meeting here tonight, Tuesday, October 5th at 6:30 PM. I'll ask first if there's any disclosure of pecuniary interest. Seeing none, we'll begin with staff reports. We have two written ones here. And in no particular order, I have John Paul's first. And I know he brought it out this evening, so if you didn't see it, if you just want to go through it. And if you have any questions for John Paul.
It's construction plan and it's
Right.
so lots of interest.
It hasn't slowed down yet.
No. Yeah, lots going on. Entrances, 911s, zoning.
And I believe John Paul has talked to everybody about just to review the minor variants for our meeting on October 19th.
Yeah.
Just to bring you up to speed because they are all interesting in their own way. So if there's no questions for John Paul, we'll move on to Dan McGinnis. And,
I make a quick comment.
yep, sure.
They did that culvert in Sunset Cove Road. And they did it in an amazing amount of time. That's 11-foot deep dig plus a culvert in 2 days. I think the public works crew needs a little thank you because I've been around these jobs and with the machinery and the equipment we got, that's pretty much amazing what they were able to do in 2 days. To have that in and out and done in 2 days, I think they need a little thank you from everybody.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Good. We will certainly pass that on, and I'm sure we all share that because at the same time, I'm waiting, and that when they told us that at the council meeting 2 weeks ago, that was really good news, you know. But again, then somebody commented to me, well, why did you have 5 days? I said, because you don't know till the job starts what you're gonna run into, you know? So I said, just be glad, be happy. They did it in 2, they should be congratulated. So,
That was a big job
yeah, so we will pass that on.
for a small crew. That was very good.
Yeah. And I've seen the new guide rails. Hey, guide rails, I always called them guardrails.
No, don't,
Okay,
because if the guard fails, you're in trouble.
okay.
Like,
I
it's a
saw the
guide.
new guide rails. And they look really good and, you know, it's positive. And
Is this how contract?
No.
No.
It's all public works.
All of our crew.
They did the ones on the start by Andy's place. They did that themselves. They put in their own anchors, put in their own posts, run the cables, and now I think today they're doing the ones on Sunset for that new culvert. I've seen the anchors went in, so it's just a matter of stretching and putting the cables in.
no, it looked good.
And if I could just follow up.
Yes,
So Dan met with Canor, who has our recycling and contract starting on January 1st. So what we've done now that we have a plan with them, we can start our education campaign. So we'll have a flyer ready to go out November 1st, and that's when we'll start our education.
so we'll have 2 full months. And
That'll be working at the landfill, having them educate our employees there. Also, we'll do a mail out.
So are we going into separation again?
We're going to have to separate a little bit differently, but we did work with them on the bids.
So how many separate items will there be?
I'll have that for you for the next meeting, because I'm not gonna say it out
Like
loud
we have
just
to
yet.
have- You'll have to have a bin for glass and one for tin.
We do have to
cans,
have one for
aluminum.
glass, yes. But until we have it all sorted out and on paper and we're all happy with it, I don't want to bring that out until we're ready.
And they just had the meeting,
The other day.
just finished it. I think just preliminary,
Mhm.
it sounds really good, more than I think we expected.
Yeah, I think it'll be better than what we expected and they're working with us on our concerns, so.
And
I
a
don't
lot
think
more,
we'll have a problem.
a lot more weights.
That was my biggest concern, that we're going backwards and
So what we
sort a
can,
lot of stuff again.
well, we'll have to sort. That's the way of the future because everything has to go back and the originating companies all have to pay for their own stuff. So
Yeah,
we need those exact weights. That's
Yeah,
what
but
has to
like-
happen.
you know, with glass and plastic and tin cans,
They're all gonna be separate.
so people are gonna have to have like 4 bins.
Well, for me personally, when I go, I bring one bin and I sort one thing in and I,
Let's say like for us, we go every 3 months or so.
See,
That's
I
a lot
just-
to sort.
I know what I do. I just put it in great big bags. And then I go in and dump that bag and throw the bag, dump that bag and
I would like us eventually to see if we can get blue boxes and sell them. And maybe that will help. Defer stuff from going to landfill. If you're bagging everything, put it in a box, take it, and then you bring the box home. reuse it.
I reuse my bags, but I'm cheap.
Yeah, that's
It's not bad
bad.
bringing it just in the house. You have to go out and sort through your recycling and put it in.
It's all that we done in it.
Well, I have 5 separate bins lined up on the porch. And on Saturday, if that was full, it goes.
I talked to some people down south about it, and they're not separated.
They're not, but they also have 3 different bins. They have a food waste bin, they have, there's 2 blue boxes, and then they have another bin that's for compost.
Yeah.
If they want.
and plus when you have an area that's highly populated, your costs are not as high as what we have here. So
Just- To me, it's just going backwards, but that's. We'll live with it.
And bigger bins.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
agree with James, maybe something should be in order to make it simpler for people to sort.
We'll get there, we'll see what they got, and then we can play with it as it goes.
I know I had to buy mine at Home Hardware, my recycling bin.
I'll have to ask to see where the other fellows get their boxes from,
from the continuous improvement fund.
and we get them in by the skids. And then I don't quote me 100%, but I think it's $3 a box, $2 a box. I could be wrong. But I think that's what they charge. Outgoing, so I'd have to ask to see what the real charge is. But I know is I end up every once a month taking 10 blue boxes across the street. They don't last long. Wow.
Okay, so otherwise, well, Dan's not here. Any other questions that staff could answer regarding this? Grass keeps growing and it keeps raining, so maintaining equipment. Okay, so Fire Chief Bateman.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Last weekend, we had our auto extrication training at the landfill, and even though it was a wet one, we had a good amount of firefighters there that stuck it out for the day. The morning wasn't bad, the afternoon, everybody got sick right through. So hats off to those guys. I really appreciate them coming out. We had an instructor up, so we went cut 5 tires open and some new tricks and put our tools to some good use. We've been working on the emergency management plan, clients report, updating everything, and working on the parking bylaw, maintaining equipment, and lots of webinars.
And I know with legislation changing daily, there's plenty to try to get caught up on. So
Yeah, sometimes it changes more than once a day. So we're trying to keep up.
Okay, any questions for Will? Okay, then Kris.
I was in a clerk's forum training all day today, like Will said. Webinars are coming fast and furious right now. It seems to be the time to train. Tax due dates went off without a hitch. We're in pretty good shape. Just finalizing all of month end, so it's been busy.
Okay, thank you. So we'll move on to committee reports. Councillor Marchant
Nothing to report.
and Councillor Kirky.
Library, they're gonna continue services with the Life Lab. We had a meeting, Zoom meeting on last Monday. Anyway, and they gave us the update on the story walks that they did and a few programs that the library is doing. And there's some grants that they're applying for. They've tacked it on with some more of the libraries that are in the Blue Sky library system, so they can get larger grant, and everybody put in what they needed out of this grant. That's for outdoor meeting places, meeting places, patios and stuff. And they're applying for an HVAC grant for Trillium at this point. And I'm a new member of the financial committee.
Congratulations.
Thank you, I think.
I'm not,
Now,
I'm not smiling.
No,
Very serious.
I'm sure. And that's about it for that one. And we have a museum meeting tomorrow evening, and I believe that's the last one of the year. So I'll have an update on that one.
And,
That's it.
and my one question about the laminating of cards, I went in.
Okay,
I went in because they said you could get your cards laminated for $3. And I went in and instead they take the sheet that you received and they just reduce it and they laminate it and it's only $1. So $1, if you go to calendar, it's $3, but they call the health unit with your health card and they send you something else and they laminate it. So I thought it was a good deal in Powassan. I said, well, how many can I get? And she said, 1. I'm like, well, thank you very much, So got it and happy as a clam. So now, Councillor Scott.
Okay, we haven't had a rec committee meeting, but poor weather forced us to cancel the movie night, and it's gonna be rescheduled to a better evening. So we believe that'll happen in the next year. And whatever we paid just carries on to the next year.
So just like a deposit.
Yeah.
Good. Good.
It's gonna happen.
And that night did get pretty miserable, so.
Yeah.
Probably a good choice. And I have no East Home report, but I know you all heard that as of Friday, East Home, everybody has to be double vaxxed. And now they're just waiting to find out because there are a number of people that are not and will not. So we need to find out what's happening. And I think what's most upsetting about this is the hospital, you don't have to be double vaxxed. So we have people that have said, well, we're just leaving, we'll go work at the hospital. And we are already having a staff shortage as it is. And it's almost 10 staff we're looking at. And so, again, it's not a level playing field. It's either everybody, hospitals, long-term care, but right now it's just long-term care unless individual hospitals choose to do this. But again, it's a political nightmare. You're not going to do it unless ordered. So we're waiting to see what comes of that. And we are beginning, this is a positive, we're beginning negotiations. And we're beginning it with no lawyers. the union and our administration, and hopefully we can work it out, keep the lawyers out of it and keep the costs down. And
Yeah.
that was, I think it's an excellent idea and I applaud the union. And I hope we can work it out. But we will see. It's just the beginning. But that's it. And our meeting has been moved till later in October because of scheduling problems. So I think it's the 28th of October or something. So anyway, I have nothing else to report. Yes, Tom?
I just wondered about, I meant to ask in staff reports, but the trailer bylaw.
We're still
getting,
working on the wording and some research. We want to make sure council has all their options in line. So we'll bring something forward probably at the
And then
next
we have
meeting.
the changes to the official plan.
No, zoning bylaw.
it's, yeah.
So just the zoning bylaw.
And see, I thought official plan and we did check and it was zoning bylaw. And then we're actually, what you and I discussed, that's one of the options that we're looking at. And so, it'll have to come back to council, of course, but, we're looking at wording and they put it out that those are other, and I agree. I think they're viable options that we need to look at. So,
Yeah, the 500 meters was.
yeah, that kind of excluded every human being in the planet,
My range finder, I set it on 500 meters. Yeah, that setback is a little.
Yeah, yep.
That's just not reasonable.
So we will,
Unless you're in the Alps.
right, so we will look at that.
So that'll be
Coming up.
in the
Yep,
next
Yeah.
while.
And then we'll go through the whole public process because it'll be on the opposite end.
Nice to get it done with.
oh, yeah. I think the only positive we have going with this is we're kind of at the end of trailer season now, except those people that want a winter camp. We've
See
had
another
that.
one moved in on that. So
Okay,
one, now there's two.
yeah, okay, so we'll go from committee reports to, we will adopt the minutes. And again, in both cases with, just in hindsight, both cases with the trailer bylaw and with the recycling, we're still trying to get things worked out. That's why it's not here tonight, but it will be here really, really soon because we want to start education. And
We don't
they're
want
ready.
to start too soon though, because
Yeah, they'll
it's a very
forget.
different system. So we want to make sure that we have a nice transition.
So we'll move on to the minutes of the meeting held September 21st, a mover and a seconder, please. I'm going to go with Councilor Marchant, Councilor Kirky. So it's number R 2021 and 216.
Mhm.
I went over it because your pen was light. and I-
Sorry.
It's 216. Moved by Councilor Marchant, seconded by Councilor Kirky, that the minutes of the meeting held September 21st, 2021, and the minutes of the special meeting held September 21st, 2021 be adopted as published. All in favor? Carried.
I gave you a copy of the new policy. It's right there.
Okay, so we're at number 5, to approve procedures for municipal facilities requiring proof of vaccination for use. And that's this new policy one here that you have. And
We did an update and everyone has a copy just with the highlighted part that we added. Just for those that don't have vaccination certification, if they have a negative COVID test within the last 72 hours, that can be used for access to the
And if
office.
they don't, what, they meet outside or?
Yeah, we'll make other arrangements. We can
Oh,
do a
okay.
Zoom meeting, we can do it on the phone, we can do it outside. Just, there's lots of different ways that we can make it happen. We were challenged several times over what our policy is, so this is our policy in writing. This is what we told people. This keeps everybody as safe as we can and follows the rules as best we can.
And any comments about the people that use downstairs?
Mhm.
There don't seem to be any problems.
No, we've offered refunds to those that.
Yeah, I see that, that's good.
Yeah,
Yeah, good.
so we'll, and I mean, our policy is granting more access, giving more people opportunities in a lot of places. It's just cut and dry, either vaccinated or out, so I think we're trying.
We're trying to work with everybody. And we're not trying to cut off any services. We're trying to give other ways of offering the service, but we need people to work with us. So having a policy.
Follow within the provincial sort of
Guidelines
of the day.
Yes.
of the day. Yeah.
I think they've done lots of alternatives.
Mhm.
If they don't like it, they get the money back. So
Yeah,
a
with
lot
the,
of
with
places
the
would
gym,
not do that.
yeah, or they can defer it till this is over. So, I mean, we can't do any more than that. I think it's been
No, I
excellent.
think That's a good policy.
Yeah. Okay, so a mover and a seconder, Counselor Scott and Counselor Marchant. So it's number R 2021-217, moved by Counselor Scott, seconded by Counselor Marchant, that we approve the policy and procedure for proof of vaccination in municipal facilities as presented. All in favor? Okay. And against? And for.
I have a reason for that. The whole provincial things and overreach, so.
But you do realize that we're doing this because,
I understand
yeah.
that, but.
yep. No problem,
And
no
I
issue.
understand that what we've done here is to try and accommodate as many as possible. But I still deep down feel it's an overreach, so.
Okay. Now, the next one, and we started going through our parking bylaw, parking and whatever, and it was brought to my attention that in our school zone, we had an incorrect sign. So to correct the sign, that's why this one has been moved up to tonight. So it can be corrected and we can put new signage in as soon as we can get new signage. And it's just that, and this bylaw is for the community safety zones or the safety zone. There's only one zone.
For now, there's only the one. It's
Yeah.
just, this leaves it open for us to amend if there are other places that are identified by council that they would like to make.
But right now with the rink, the school, the office,
Any expansions to the park that we're working towards.
with the rec committee, it seems that would, and this new pavement would be a logical place for a community safety zone.
It makes sense at that core area.
Yep, yeah. So I need a mover and a seconder, Counselor Kirky and Counselor Scott, thank you. It's number R 2021-218, moved by Counselor Kirky, seconded by Counselor Scott, that we pass bylaw number 2021-48, being a bylaw to designate community safety zones within the corporation of the Township of Nipissing. Read a first, second, and third time and passed this 5th day of October, 2021. All in favor?
The one, I noticed that's a yellow sign at Wolf Lake. They're saying 40. There's
Yeah.
more with signs. That's just a warning.
That's
We're
a
not-
warning. It's
yeah.
not regulatory.
It's not a
No.
regulatory.
It's a warning. So it must be a curve or
So it's
something.
the park
It's
there.
the park, or it's the beach,
A
the beach
beach.
area. So we're hoping to identify that when we move forward too.
Yeah. So like people will still do 60 unfortunately through there until we do something like this.
Over the history, a sign it's just a sign.
Yeah. But
And it doesn't-
Okay, so case in point, there was an incorrect sign put up right in front of the public, just as you're coming in. And there's the school sign, and then there was a 60 sign right behind it. And we drive by it every single day. I didn't know. It's been 14 years.
Yeah.
So
And
signs are there and you get blind to them after a while and you just don't see them. So this was brought to our attention, so.
And I have to plead ignorance because the guy said, well, you got a 60. And I went, what's it supposed to be? Because I guess I've never, and I went to Powassan, I've gone, and I don't see the signs.
I think it's 40 in the cities.
It'd be 40 or 30, you know?
Put in a
Plus the
school zone. it's-
fines are double.
Yes,
Calendar safety zone is 30, and the rest of the downtown is 40.
They changed that since I left.
And-
They slowed it down even more.
Oh, yeah.
and after this happened, I went through Sturgeon Falls, where I used to go 70 through Sturgeon, and you don't go 70 anymore, you know?
No.
And so it's been a really positive learning experience, you know, for all of us. So we will get it right. We'll change the signs and now we can do that. So,
Well, when it was brought to our attention, we took down the 60 sign that day. And the school sign is still there. So technically you're in a school zone. So we'll just move forward and make it right.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
60 might have been a little quick.
I don't think anybody can really get up to that speed when you get up to that corner, but some people may have seen it more of a challenge.
Just challenging.
yeah.
Well, it's good.
So we'll move on to correspondence. And Steve had already talked to us about the library board minutes, and there he is right there at the top of the page that I have. So great that you were there. The second one we have, and unless you knew, this is a thank you letter from Andy Duggan, and he did it himself.
Beautiful.
And
One of the moose on? Yes.
And he's the gentleman where he asked that we put up the guide wires, whatever, so that's, and he just call it guard,
We're not going to say.
but, and he thanked us very much for it, and I've gone by it a couple of times, and they did a good job.
It's nice to get that for change.
Yeah, it's nice to have something
Nice
positive,
for us
it
to
was
go for the
great.
wins, yes.
And then the last thing, we come back to the city of Vaughan, and they haven't supported.
They didn't move forward with the independent counselors resolution that they had brought to the committee of the whole to
To go
lower
to-
the speed limit
to go to,
or to the age,
Age.
sorry,
Age.
increase the age for the
yeah.
driver's license.
And they just said that review and research it, and they will continue to, you know, they had the recommendations for the driver's ed and everything like that and youth training, but they didn't raise it to 18. So we were wise not to support that because,
Yes, it wasn't feasible.
no. And for us,
Especially up in this country.
That makes sense.
I pray for the day they get their driver's license. Well,
Yeah.
should,
So,
anyway, somewhat, yeah.
it depends.
Yes. And we'll move on to accounts.
So, correspondence.
Oh, yeah, we have to pass correspondence first before we look at the account. So I need a mover and a seconder, Counselor Scott and Counselor Kirky. Number R 2021-219, moved by Counselor Scott, seconded by Counselor Kirky, that we accept the correspondence as presented. All in favor? Carried. There, I just gave you a heads up on the statements of accounts.
Everyone received a revised statement of accounts. We were working forward with the bank rec, so there's 2 months of visas and a few other little items that needed to come through.
Does anybody have any questions about the accounts?
I had one. What was it? The structure assessment, what's that?
So we're legislated to have our bridges and culverts, our larger culverts inspected every 2 years. And we were working with the municipalities in the area, but we were out of step with them. So last year we had our assessment done. Everybody got their assessments done this year, but we didn't need ours. So what happened was the engineer came through and did just a basic assessment so that we can get in step with everyone for next year.
Oh,
And that's
what
the,
Dan reported on last.
Yes.
yeah. And Antoine is the engineer at East Ferris.
And he also does services for
With the
philosophy.
visa payments, I
Yes.
guess there's a breakdown of what.
Yep, they're here in the folder if you'd like to see.
Figured there must be.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
and the guardrails,
Yes,
guide rails, that's the purchase of supplies.
yes.
I assume it is.
There's two separate ones because we installed one at the residence and then one along Bear Creek Road where we replaced the culvert.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
There's two
I
separate
think they did
installations.
3 sets, if I
Probably.
remember.
Okay, so
Mhm.
I was wondering if that was contracted that came into it. That's
Yeah.
that question earlier.
Yes,
If that's what that was about.
That's simply the supplies and our crews did it themselves.
Okay. And thermal imaging cameras, 46, 44.
That was in the capital forecast for the fire department and approved.
That's just
No, that's good. I'm glad
Numbers
that you're
that were
asking questions.
jumping out at me that I wasn't sure of.
and see, that was before you were on, so you wouldn't have known
No.
anything about thermal imaging cameras.
Well, I knew that when they first came out, I was doing part of them, and the price of them was, they weren't very good.
Yeah,
So
Things have changed.
why don't we? Why hadn't helped for that?
some things have improved.
Yes.
Not my computer skills, unfortunately. So we'll move on then, and for the statements of accounts, a mover and a seconder. Okay, Councilor Marchand and Councilor Scott, please. So it's number R 2021-2020, moved by Councilor Marchand, seconded by Councilor Scott, that the statement of accounts dated September 29th and October 2nd and 6th, 2021, totaling $181, 645, 181, 645 and 19 cents be approved. All in favor? Did you get that this time? 181, 645, 19.
Yes.
Yeah, I always get excited when I see money. Okay. The confirming bylaw. So I need a mover and a seconder, please. Thank you, Councilor Scott and Councilor Turkey. So it's number R 2021-221, moved by Councilor Scott, second by Councilor Kirky, that we pass bylaw number 2021-49, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council at its meeting held on October 5th, 2021, read the first, second, and third time, and passed this 5th day of October 2021. All in favor? Carried. And yeah, adjourning bylaw. I need a mover and seconder. And we could stay here all night. if you want. Counselor Kirky and Counselor March.
I gotta go home and beat my pig.
Okay, well, I'm not holding you up.
I got to Sarah's church. It's good in the morning, 7 o'clock.
We have price.
So number 2021-222, moved by Counselor Kirky, seconded by Counselor Marchand, that the meeting be adjourned at 7:04 PM. Next regular meeting be held October 19th, 2021. All in favor? Carried. And Counselor Scott has mentioned that he won't be here for the next meeting, and we have committee of adjustment and other things going on. So hopefully if anybody can't make it, we'll know.
So the meeting after that. I'm sure I heard who states.
Oh, okay.
I got the tag. But I'm wearing glasses, so it's pretty sure. Unless it's right in front of me.
It's safe.